Welcome to today's episode of a Onewheel podcast, hosted by Adam Laser, the good-looking man with the white stripe in his mustache that rides bikes and Onewheels, featuring Bodhi Harrison, the Onewheel dude guy kid, and the chief evangelist of Onewheel himself, John Mudd, aka Jack Mudd. Today, we're talking about stuff and also things. Join us.
Well, what do you guys want to converse about today?
Well, I have a few topics on hand because Bodhi and I came up with them beforehand.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes. Did you know that Bodhi Harrison has worked for Future Motion for over a year now?
We recently passed the 1 year mark,
Love
which
that.
I think was like end of October, beginning of November.
End of October.
Is it
when I
time to
first
take another
arrived.
dip in the old Pacific?
Dude, do another one. That honestly was really awesome.
Yeah, it was.
Like-
I think we should do it again.
I think it could be a yearly thing, but when I first came here and you guys brought me to the ocean and literally baptized me in the Pacific Ocean, I showed up in a state of kind of like disarray, you know. I was like kind of all thrown around from the transition, and I just moved all my stuff, and I'm in a new place and I'm fulfilling my dream, and I just had like so many different emotions going on, and that was just such like a grounding experience and just really made me feel like at home, and really did feel like it washed a lot of like the negativity out of me. And beforehand, Laser came up to me and put his arm around me, and he's like, "You're where you belong." And that was a good day, dude. That really helped me solidify, like, I made the right choice. Like, this is a good place to be. This is where I need to be right now. And over the last year, I've really come back into my body and come back into myself and reinvigorated my spirit and my love for what we're doing. And it's been a really incredible year thus far.
I also think there's great value in like just doing something silly too.
Yeah.
To like in like goes in any facet of life, but like it's particularly in a moment that just feels really big and important and sometimes heavy and just like I think we went to the ocean and like splashed
Like,
water around and freaking chanted some weird stuff.
And then we baptized you
Yeah.
Yep.
in the ocean.
Sometimes you just need like a big silly like just a chuckle.
Yeah.
You know, and be like, okay, this is good.
I didn't think it was that silly.
Well, I think it was both.
There was silly
I think it's
tones.
both.
I was fully in the moment of this is like a life-changing moment for Bod Boy.
Totally. Laser, you're like a more serious, you're like a more, I'm a sillier, you have
We are both sillies, but
Adam's not silly at all.
you are definitely a little bit more less silly than
I should say Adam's not funny. No, I'm kidding. No, it was intentional.
Yes,
It was intentional. You're a man of intention. Adam's a man of intention. That's
Well, what you said too is like really powerful. I don't remember what you said, but what you did say was like, wow, bars.
I don't remember either.
Something along the lines of like out with the old, in with the new.
It was some reference line from Lord of the Rings that it was like inspiring,
It was very inspiring.
but silly, probably.
Yeah, every once in a while I can dig down.
Jack's good about taking things seriously, but having those silly aftertones,
Oh, yeah, you got to.
you know?
It's too much if it's all
You can't
it's
take
all
things
serious.
too
And
serious.
and we're talking about one wheeling mostly. You know, I guess like there's careers and there's like, you know, stuff, but it's mostly
You gotta
riding
have
around
fun
on
and be
one
silly.
wheels. Can't forget about that.
Upside down triangles.
You're gonna have to explain that more
what's that?
later.
Oh, I was thinking about it the other day. So, coming from a skateboard background, as Bodhi would know, you have four wheels.
Right.
And the balance point, if you were to lay that board on the ground, would be a rectangle. Right?
Okay.
You have the person on top of it, but the board stands by itself. So it's a rectangle. Rectangles balance very easily.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
The one wheel balance point is like an upside down triangle where there's only one point of touch.
Contact
point
patch.
Of contact patch.
Yep.
And I was going through the skateboarding and one wheeling stuff in my head as I always do. And I was like, I think people highly underestimate how, even though the board does assist with balancing, how difficult, I was thinking of stuff that Bodhi does, how difficult it is to like go off a ledge or do a drop and land without the nose or tail touching.
Right.
And I was like, oh, is that easier? Like, is dropping like a 3-stair harder on a skateboard or easier on a skateboard because of its rectangular nature? It was a random thought that I had.
What do you think?
I think that it's harder.
What do you think?
I think if you're talking dropping, because with the 3-stair on a skateboard, you could ride off of it.
You just roll.
You just roll off and land, and I think that would be a little bit easier because, like you're saying, you're landing on like a plank essentially. You know, if you land on the bolts, it's going to be a little bit easier. But with a one wheel, to go off the stairs, keep your weight balanced, not overextend to the nose or the tail and drag your tail a little bit or touch your nose a little bit. When we're talking like landing clean, I would say it's probably a little harder on a one wheel, but ollieing a 3-stair would probably make it a bit harder, because then when you have to like ollie the board, pop it correctly, slide your foot correctly, and land back on it, that's probably a little bit more technical. But then if you're bring that back over the one wheel and you bollie down a 3-stair, then that's probably bringing it back to a similar difficulty, because timing the bollie correctly and landing correctly.
Have you ever gotten into the Bollie versus Bonk debate on the podcast?
Probably not.
Bodhi's never been on the podcast.
This is my first podcast.
This is his first time
Laser and I
ever.
have been talking about this for a year.
Why do you say Bollie instead of Bonk?
It makes way more sense.
Okay.
And I can't take credit for inventing this. This is all Hoop Doggy Dog, Aaron Hooper, the legend, my filmer that I proposed to on one knee. You guys know that story?
I do know. I know that one.
I proposed on a knee to Hoop. But Hoop's a legend, and he's watched skateboarding grow into life. He's watched snowboarding grow into life. And when we were filming Dirt, he was telling me, I don't like bonk as the trick for bonking. You're not bonking. On a skateboard or a snowboard, when you bonk something, you're coming from the air, either going off of a jump or ollieing in the air and tapping with some part of your board an object, and that's bonking something.
Right, like you could bonk a tree if you go off a kicker and like tap the tree.
Exactly, or like a bonk 180. You're like jumping up, tapping the tree and 180 off the tree. But with a bollie, it's a bounce ollie. Like you're bouncing the board into the air, because we can't ollie. We can only bounce ollie. And so it makes more sense, and I think sounds cooler, because when I hear bonk, I think of like a little kid that's like, oh mom, I bonked my head. Or like a mom being like, oh sweetheart, you bonked your head, are you okay, come here.
Right.
And like when we created the word bonk was at the original Float Life Fest, when I did what they called the bonk herd around the world, when I found this like little line into this little kind of fun box feature we had, and I bollied like 3 feet in the air, 3-something feet in the air, and nobody really bonked at the time that high. And it was Justin on the mic was just like, what was that? Like, what are we calling that? Like, and then people were like, a bonk? Bonk? We're calling that a bonk? Okay, it's a bonk. And we just kind of, everybody rolled with that. And then nobody put more thought into it. We just called it bonking.
Wow.
An object is a bonk. And then Hoop came around and was like, dude, that doesn't make sense. We should call it Bollie. And then I adopted Bollie for a long time. A lot of people were pretty resistant to it. And for a short time, I kind of gave up and was like, screw it, dude. Like, it's not catching. But then I came back. I was like, I don't care what other people think. There's no official one-wheel trick book yet, you know? So, like, I'm not going to force it on anybody else. But I'm going to say it how it makes sense to me, because in my mind, the trick itself is a bollie and the object is a bonk.
Jack, what are your thoughts on this
I just
topic?
think it's like a very interesting and complex story because Bodhi is in some sense maybe not the first person to do a trick of this ilk, but the definitive moment of this trick was performed by Bodhi, and then it gets branded, packaged up in some way, and now here's Bodhi feeling like maybe the proper thought and philosophical backing wasn't sort of like wrapped into that original package, and now he's trying to sort of wrap it in the proper wrapping paper, but it's now seeped into the lexicon, and so now it's like your own sort of thing. You're now trying to like correct in a way.
You know what
It's very
brought me
interesting.
back is I was in Colorado visiting my parents, and we did this little group ride in my hometown, and this dude came and introduced himself to me. But before he told me his name, the first thing he like daps me up and he's like, "Team Bollie, what up?" I wish I remembered his name right now. I'm so sorry if that person is listening right now,
Wow.
because names are just tricky for me. But he literally was like, "Team Bollie, I'm Nicholas or James or whatever it was." He's a
Right.
super chill dude. But then that really hit me, and I was like, "Dude, I need to come home."
I mean, I think it's important to live in your truth,
For sure.
And so if that's a
Yeah,
Bollie.
maybe that trick in the beginning of times like didn't identify as a bonk, but people just name it a bonk. And Bodhi, you're like, you know what? It's really a Bollie. Because I actually agree with Bollie in that fashion. But I will say this, on my mountain bike, I consider what I do on like tree roots as a nose bonk, where I'll use the tree root and I'll lift up my back tire and bonk the tire off the root to get me some interesting air into like a little corner. So,
Was that defined like that before?
oh dude, I have
That's like part of mountain biking terminology.
I don't even
or
know
no?
if that's the right terminology.
just what
I
you're
just
saying?
like, I referred in, I think I naturally always called that a nose bonk.
But what if you called it that because of bonking in the one wheel world, and that reminded you of it in the mountain biking world? What came first, the chicken or the egg?
Yeah.
The rooster.
The rooster is a good answer.
That was a good answer.
I want to get back to Bodhi being with us for over a year because we've done a lot of things. We've gone on a lot of adventures. We've shot a lot of content. You've also been injured for majority of the year, which I know was really difficult for you, and you're on the up and up. And I would hate to miss the point that, how old are you in this poster right here? Because if people don't know, that's young Bodhi Harrison.
That was October of 2017. So I was 18 years old.
That's amazing.
That was to this day, one of the best trips of my life. I was just a little teenage Grom just got to college, and Jack hit me up to come be a part of launching the Onewheel XR.
I love that we have that. And also there's like these little pieces of you around the office that were here before you came here. Like there's all of the Race for the Rail, finals sheets and
The
all that
Walk of
stuff.
Shame.
Don't bring those ones
The
up.
Walk of Shame. There's photos of when you would come, when I first started, you'd come out and do events with us. And, it's just like, I think that is what prompted me to say, like, you're where you belong, like, welcome home, because you always did have a home here. You were just doing other life adventures and on a different journey at that time. So it like felt so natural when we got the news that you were going to be on the team and you were coming to Santa Cruz and all that stuff. So I felt like we had to do the baptism in the ocean, the future motion baptism.
It was cool. I was on Scott Mendenhall's podcast not too long ago. Big up Scott Mendenhall. And he was talking to me about the pop-up we did, which the pop-up was
LA.
like 4 years ago? 5 years
2019.
ago? 2019?
This is December of 2019.
Yeah. So you guys brought me out for the pop-up. Super fun experience. Did a pop-up shop in a gas station in Chinatown in Los Angeles. And
Way
he was
sick.
reminding me that at that event, I told him how it was my dream to do exactly this, to work for Onewheel as a pro rider, helping develop boards and develop products and build a community and push freestyle and different aspects of the sport. Way back then, when I first met him, I was already telling him that. And so he was like doubling back and reminding me about that conversation and congratulating me. And I thought that was a really cool thing to think about, because this has been on my mind for a long time, and we're doing it, and it's been a really killer year, and it's been incredible what we've been able to accomplish just in 1 year. And I think we're getting into a flow now between myself and the team and the factory team and the whole team as a whole. I think we're starting to really figure out our like flow, and I think this next year is going to be really exciting in terms of what we're going to be coming up with and what we're going to be coming out with content wise, product wise, and just really getting this thing to pop off. Because I think all of our goal here is to spread the gospel of Onewheel. You know, it's the funnest thing. It's life changing. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of stories of how this has helped and changed people's lives, and it's just really cool to be able to be a part of growing that, and spreading that message.
He said it, and I agree.
What you kind of went over a few of the things you've been working on this year, and you're a highly talented and multi-talented human being. So you're doing events, you're one-wheeling, you're creating content from literally start to scratch, you're helping with product development. How has that kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say it been different from what you've done in the past, but like, what are some of the things that you've really enjoyed so far this year, coming into the brand and being on the team? Because you've always been a part of the team to me. Like, we always talk about it. For the years, we've been like, oh, we wish we could get Bodhi on the team. And like, it's like sometimes it's just not the time for things to happen. Yeah. But like, what are some of the projects, some of the things you've done this year that you've been super stoked about, that have like sparked joy and just kind of gotten you super frothed to continue the one-wheel journey?
I think the things that come to mind for me, that were more new to my world, were the demos. I love the demos.
Me too.
Like, absolutely love it. That was one of the things I was the most excited to do, because getting people into it, I've always in a way done that through video, and like put out videos and help show that one wheeling's fun, and people hit me up, they're like, yo, I got a one wheel because of your videos, thank you so much, this is great. But like physically helping people ride one wheels in the hundreds in a weekend, and just watching, my favorite part is when you watch the fear go to stoke, because everyone's like a little apprehensive at first, even like the big tough guys are like, oh, I don't know. And they get on it and they're like, oh, this is kind of weird. And I'm like, yeah, it's weird at first, but shaky. Let it connect with you. You got it. And you feel their grip loosen up on your arm, and you see their like tightness of their face kind of like loosen up, and you see that smile come onto their face. And then some of them, you turn around and they're just ripping laps around the demo area, like hooting and hollering, handing their phone to their girlfriend to film them, or their boyfriend. And I really, really enjoyed the demos, especially the sandcastle.
I was gonna
demo
say
was sweet. I was dead by the end of it.
So sick.
Between doing a lot of like content stuff and working on it, and that was, what was it, 9 days straight?
9 days straight
every day.
I was there for like the first 4 or something. Every morning, I had to literally drag. This is what I learned this year. My first year with Bodhi, I learned basically how to wake Bodhi up.
It's not an easy thing.
Dude, waking Bodhi up.
I struggle with it every day.
So oh my God. Yeah, every morning was like, I'm just like pounding on Bodhi to get him up.
What's the strategy?
Well, I've changed.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing. During the sandcastle thing, I was like going with kind of like, it was kind of that eggy, like your friend's not like getting up and they are supposed to be up by now. It's like, dude, Bodhi, like, come on, kind of like this type of thing. And he's very resistant. He's like an armadillo in there.
I'm not even me yet. That's the thing. Before I wake up, I'm like a
he'll
different
shake
guy.
you off every way there is. It's tough. What I ended up figuring out on our last content trip when we were shooting for XR Classic in Southern California, then this is kind of weird, but what really wakes him up better than physical violence is like soft, sensual touches to his face.
Ooh.
So I would like just start like as creepy as you possibly can, just like petting his face a little bit, like in a way that's like very, very creepy. And
I thought it was loving. It didn't feel.
I was
creepy to
going
me.
for like creepy person wakes you up in the morning,
Yeah.
where you're like, get the hell off me type of thing.
No, it worked because
It does work. He wakes up
because
way better that way.
It brings my soul into my body. I'm not just like crusty old boy. Like I come into my body from sleep and I'm like, oh, we got a mission. It's time to get up.
Yeah.
And since you did it in such a loving way, I want to repay that love with
By waking up
getting up.
so that we're not late.
Yeah.
One of the worst waker uppers I've ever met.
Yeah.
And and that's coming from me. I'm a bad waker upper.
Jack has gotten a lot better throughout the years.
I'm not great. It's not my
But
power zone.
my first experience trying to wake Bodhi up was post Race for the Rail 2019. And I went downstairs and it was him and Hooper sleeping on the couches. And Hooper, is up at like 5,
Right.
filming the sunrise and everything. So he's having his coffee. He's like, good luck. And I was like, Bodhi, get up. Nothing.
Oh, yeah.
And then I get closer and he's got his cell phone playing like jazz next to his ear.
Dude, he's got tech with his sleep.
And yeah, I don't think I had success waking you up at all. It was like
you got to
11
get very
a.m. still.
hands-on. You gotta
Everybody's
get very,
packing the van to leave. You guys are going off on a little content mission, you and Hooper and Logan. And that was my experience.
you got to get very hands-on in order to wake him up. Auditory.
Well, and it was
won't
even
work.
harder when I wasn't sober. It's definitely helped now that I'm sober. But like, after drinking and whatnot, like it would be extra hard to wake up because, like a late night party and it's super hard to wake up. But even now, like if I sleep 8 hours, 9 hours, 10
still.
hours, it's still so hard for me to wake up in the morning.
Some people, it's just
You guys are night owls too. You
Some people are just
that
like
is
that.
kind of my thing.
stay
Like,
up late, do work into the night.
yeah. My most productive time is like 2 to 3 p.m. to like midnight. Like that's when I rock the hardest. And like I've done some of my best work at legit like 1, 2, 3 in the morning, just like super locked in. But then it's a little tricky when the team you're with, their schedule is earlier. You can't really have your super night owl schedule because you don't line up with everybody the same. And also like I want to not be a night owl. Like I would prefer to be somebody that wakes up 5, 6 in the morning, catch the sunrise, go to the gym, eat some breakfast, meditate, and then like still have a little bit of time to kill before I go into work. But it's like
doesn't work like that.
does not
It
work
just
like
doesn't
that.
work like that. I've
No.
tried. I want to do that too. It won't work.
But you could make it happen.
No.
I
think it's
not like
Don't
that.
believe.
All throughout college, I
believe what he's
was
saying.
you guys. I was going to bed at 2 a.m. and then you'd wake up for your like 9 a.m. class and just be horrible at life. And then in my mid-20s, I was like, I'm doing it. I am going to be the guy that wakes up at 5 a.m. and gets everything done before work. And it was really difficult. And it was a great learning experience. I no longer wake up at 5 a.m. I'm a 6 a.m. guy now.
It's still
And I'll
so early.
I'll chill in bed. I'll like enjoy it. But I have this like philosophy where it's like I'm really big on sunrise. Like it's not like the thing where it's like go outside and get some sun. It's just like that moment in time where you're at is usually like the quietest of the times and nobody's really up at that time. And it's a very special moment. And especially living in Santa Cruz, if you go take a one wheel down to the beach while the sun is rising, you're in heaven. It's like,
Wow.
how is this possible? But yeah, you just gotta, I just like sunsets, staying up late, sunsets are kind of easy to me. but waking up is hard. And I
Sure.
think it was like taking that shift of like, let's do something hard and make that a part of my existence.
Well, Andrew Huberman talks about how it really only actually takes like 3 or 4 days of doing it every day. Like, even if the first couple of days are gonna suck, but if you get up at 5 or you get up at 6, no matter what time you go to sleep, you're gonna lose a bit of sleep when you first start. But if you actually make yourself do it and you do it consistently, your circadian rhythm actually resets faster than you think it does. And that's definitely something I want to do. I've been different areas of my life, kind of one at a time, getting more disciplined. And right now, sleep is a big one that I'm working on, you know, trying to get to bed later and get up earlier. But it's hard for me because I want to do a lot of things, and I do a lot of things. And I also have ADHD, so I get like super hyper focused into something.
Right.
And then next thing I know, it's like 1 a.m. and I still got to rip a shower and go to sleep and all that.
I've always been that way. Like, I never want the day to end. Always. Like, when I was a kid, like you go over to your sleepover at your friend's house or something, like, I never wanted to like stop, like doing whatever, playing video games, or like, I just don't want it to end. Like you get like tired and you're like, I'm going to go to bed. I like never want to go to bed.
That's so interesting.
I want to keep going always. Like, I've always been like that. And like, I still am like that. Like, I'll even if I don't have that much going on, like I used to work really late, like all the time basically. But now I just like play guitar for like an hour, and then it's like 1:30.
It's so
and then I want to read. So I'll get in bed and then I'll read for like 45 minutes, and then it's like 2:15.
I used to wake up at like 6:30 and have like 4 emails from Jack at like 2:30 a.m. about like, this is what we got to do tomorrow. It's going to be
because at that time I'm like,
and I'll be like, bro,
I procrastinate like all day. And then at that time you can't procrastinate.
Yeah.
If you're doing work, you're like,
time to go.
This is the time right now.
We'll have to get you on that sketch when we do a shoot with Hooper, because as Neil Bennett would tell you, we were up every day at 5 a.m. for sunrise. So we'll have to practice that when we know the project's coming up.
Speaking of projects.
Yes.
One of my other favorite things, we've kind of diverted from favorite things this year.
Yes.
One of my other favorite things was obviously 113 was super rad, super fun. That was like really early on in the pro team. Rad trip.
Shout out to Kyle Hansen too.
Shout out Kyle Hansen. But the whole launch of the XR Classic was really special to me for many reasons. You know, I was like really involved in testing of the firmware, doing a lot of firmware testing, riding, going back and forth, kind of squashing all the bugs. We figured out something with one of my freestyle tricks, my no comply big spin.
Right.
Wasn't activating because when it spun really fast, the board thought that it was going down a hill.
Right.
And we figured out how to like keep the safety feature but have it activate better. And just testing with the Silvas is always super fun. Like, I was just trip out, and I think I say it every time. Like, when we stop for a second, I'm like, guys, we're getting paid to ride Onewheels right now. Like, this is so sick.
I love the clip where you just toss the board down the hill.
Yeah, and I just threw the board
and then all of a sudden Austin throws his or whatever.
Yeah, super fun. And then also like the mission we did to LA was super rad. Like, I love content missions. I'm a skate rat. I'm passionate about capturing the world and creating media and going on adventures. You know, that's every little shred rat's dream, is to go on a trip and just make stuff and ride and shred. And it was really cool because we were kind of doing a lot at once. You know, we were getting footage for our launch video and photos for all of our launch media, for the website, for the newsletters, and photos for the riding modes, which was sweet because it's always been my dream to be one of the riding modes.
Yeah.
And then for the classic, I'm 3 of them now. My feet are mission.
Wow.
My whole body is session, and then my feet are delirium. So that whole project was really, really cool, being able to go back and forth. You know,
we got to work with a bunch of cool people too.
We got to work with a lot of cool people.
Yeah.
And like I helped with the firmware testing of the GTS and the Pine S. but that launch I felt like really involved in a lot of things, and it was a board I'm super passionate about. You know, with the GTS, I was very stoked about it because that amount of power is super cool, and I knew what, you know, territory that was going to unlock for people that love riding trails and doing big stuff, which I do love. But my heart, you know, I'm a skater, I'm a snowboarder, and a one-wheeler, so like doing tricks and freestyle and getting creative on the board, I really love. So that's why I was super fired up about beefing up the Pine X to the Pine S, getting the firmware better, getting the wider foot pads. You know, I helped get the freeride bumpers for the Pine going. And so that was really exciting to get that board at a great level for riding. And then to bring in the classic and do the revamp of one of my favorite boards of all time, now having 2 really solid boards for getting creative on the Onewheel, just had me super jazzed up. I felt like it went well. All the homies that I know that have got them are really stoked on them. I'm super stoked on it.
And that was one of the things too, when you know, basically when you guys all joined, the S series was about ready to launch, so there wasn't like a ton of. Luckily, we had Neil in the back room for like the year, and Tyler. Neil and Tyler riding that thing for forever, and they didn't even know, you know. But anyways, so luckily we had their help to make that one really sick. But you guys got here literally like the next week or something. The S series went out. I was like, oh my god! I remember when we got to surprise you guys with that. It was always a little nerve wracking because you're like, I hope they like it. Like, but and then we went on 113, which was sick.
Yep.
But I remember the debate was like, okay, the S series is sick, but like the middle ground now of boards is where like the weak point is, right? Like, do we think we can beef up the pints to the point where they can cover that middle ground? Can we do enough to bring it there, or do you have to reintroduce an XR type board? And like for a little while, I think internally, some of us thought that we could get it there with the pints, and that's like a little bit of a disappointment on some level to some of us, because like, can you really? So I think it was big to do both is what we ended up doing. You know, like with Pine S, it's like, okay, this is a massive upgrade for pints, but still we're gonna do the XR too.
Mm-hmm. It's like
So
that.
I was pretty happy about that.
You guys remember that old taco shell commercial where they're like, should we do, I think it was like soft tacos or hard tacos? And they were all like trying to figure it out. And then the little girl just pulls up and she's like, why not both? And then they just start like partying
And the
super hard.
gordita was born.
The cheesy gordita crunch.
Yeah, I think that might
Is that what that is?
That's a good one.
I think about that every time. I put that out there for something when it's like a decision, and I feel like we could do both things. Every time I say it, that flash of that commercial like pops into my head. That brings me a little bit of joy.
I don't know if I've ever seen it, but
One of my other favorite things this year that I'm excited to do more of was when Ty and I did the SoCal demo tour.
yeah,
And we just went
That was
ripping
sick.
around. Just did like guerrilla one-wheel demos. Pulled up to some colleges utilizing the ski and snowboard teams
yep.
to do demos. Just did some real raw dog
Shot some photos.
wood sign and a handful of helmets, like try the one wheels.
Made some content.
Made some stuff.
I met up with you guys for a day or two.
Yeah, we had a couple people come in and out. We had Dom Williams with us for a bit.
That's right.
That was fun.
That's a little legendary crew right there.
Yeah, dude.
Bodhi, Ty, and Dom Williams.
All in the van.
That's wild.
It was sick. Shout out Dom.
Shout out
I
Dom,
do miss Dom.
dude.
Yeah, I think he just got a job with Red Bull
You might have.
as like one of their official college ambassadors in New Zealand.
I love that. Dom's got a bright future ahead of him. He's a persistent
He's a
and
stoke
capable
lord.
young leader.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was cool.
that was fun.
I think we'll do it again. We
Hope
should
so.
do it again. We were talking about doing it again. So if anyone has, I think that's a cool thing to throw out there. If anyone has any suggestions for a new tour de force
Yeah,
starring at least Bodhi and Tyler, probably Tara,
Probably. Maybe cricket.
maybe Cricket,
Mm.
and then maybe other people too.
Yeah. Because
Where should we go? What should we do? What sandwiches should we eat?
Yep. Yeah, it would have to be more like springtime for most of the parts of the world.
Yeah.
I think there's some things we could do winter, kind of more on west southwest area, but
Sure.
you know what else I have on my mind was Race to the Rail this year.
Oh,
Doing
okay.
the commentary with you was so rad.
That was actually very sick.
That's something I've wanted to do for so long. Even when I was a racer, I was like, dude, I want to be on the mic, like
How fun?
hyping
How
people up.
fun is that?
It's really fun, especially with you. Like anything with you is a good time,
Oh,
but
stop.
it was fun. And for me, like I've been very back and forth about it. I imagine maybe a couple years down the road, I might jump back in the race scene because I don't want to retire without a rail.
Dude.
But I also like when I got hurt, it really helped me like get my priorities straight.
Right.
And for me, like what's most important to me riding wise is freestyle and doing tricks and making sick content and like pushing myself in that aspect and building the community in the sense of putting out instructional stuff, putting out stuff that inspires people, like showing up to places and getting people like fired up and connecting with people and encouraging people. And racing is fun, but it's also pretty gnarly. And even before I got hurt, I was always in this position before every race of like, do I want to film the race or do I want to be in the race? Like I want to help the back end of racing.
Yeah.
And like coaching people and being one of the people on a camera or being one of the people on a microphone when there's commentators at Oak City. I helped them run the live stream and I was switching the cameras, which at first was a little clunky. But then once I remembered what every button was, because they weren't labeled, then I was like, oh, wrong camera, over here. But then once I got in the flow, it was super fun. And so it just got me really jazzed up and reminded me that there's a lot of ways that I can still bring positivity and stoke into the race scene, because racing is amazing, but it's just not really for me. You know, I can be one of the top racers, but I also, you know, when I got hurt, I couldn't do a lot of the other things that I like to do.
Yeah.
And I want to focus all my injuries on freestyle. Because I get hurt a lot less when I do tricks. Like typically there's certain tricks where you have to go really fast.
Yeah.
You know, when you're clearing a big gap or you need to do a long slide, you know, you have to pick up some speed. But generally speaking, you're typically in like the 10-ish mile an hour range for most stuff. And growing up skating my whole life, I know how to fall at those speeds. But falling at 20, 30 miles an hour is a completely different ball game.
I think you do what you want to do. I just want to see Bodhi in freestyle. That's all.
Yeah.
Although I'll never forget this memory of Race for the Rail. I forget if it was 20 or 21. And we're racing you guys down Snow Basin and Squirrel Pig Straits.
Yeah.
It's like the most, it's in my head as like one of the most legendary straightaways, because I forget who you were.
Ty.
Was it Ty?
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's actually really cool.
When I just
arms
locked
down.
in,
And you're just
down.
arms down, and at that point on an XR, you're pretty much freewheeling.
Yeah.
And it was like just watching that happen, and you just like passed him, and he's like, wow, you know, tie stance, and you're just like,
You're flowing.
no big deal.
Dude,
That was amazing.
that was the fastest lap of the day, but I lost it in the next round. I just came off. I was looking too far down the trail, and I came up on this like little side kind of rampy section, and I didn't know I was there, and my board just like whoop, out from under me. That was it. It was done. I thought it was gonna be my year, dude.
Dang.
Dude.
And then the last year I raced, I got into finals and was chasing down Kyle, and he beat me by like a board length. I've been close, dude. That's why I call the hallway the walk of shame.
Right. That's right.
Because it's all the times I almost won Race to the Rail.
You also, you had a strong showing too, even back in like North Star. I feel like you got second, right? To Dom.
North Star, I didn't.
Second or third?
Or I got third.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got third in North Star.
Yeah, you
'Cause
were
I got a
like you
cooler.
were in the
It was Dom, then Dave, then
core
me.
pack. Yeah,
But
man.
I've
I mean,
kinda
there's just no room margin for error at all, and it's not to throw any shade at the winners, but it's like it's a little random sometimes. You know, like
For sure.
it's just
There's
an element of fortune, good fortune,
luck. Yeah.
in the way that Race the Rail is like currently engineered.
I mean, that's head-to-head racing.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things that I really liked about Subcross. And that's something I used to do back in Colorado, where there'd be a section of a river, typically like a kayak park, you know, where there's some eddies where the water slows down. There's some eddies behind rocks, some fast sections, some like drop downs. And they would set up buoys and gates, and there'd be a specific course. You know, you have to go left shoulder around this buoy. You have to go through this gate, like on the top side of this buoy. And then you got to right shoulder this buoy, and it would kind of like zigzag. Mike T, Sweet T, who's in the picture right there.
Blue coat.
My shred godfather. The first ever one wheel I rode was his one wheel. First time I ever river surfed was in his clinic. He used to do Subcross all the time as well. He dominated Subcross, dude. Mike T was deadly. But they would create these courses, and we'd go 4 people at a time on paddle boards down the river, and you just duke it out.
Dang.
And it was so fun. But they're like it's especially no room for error with that, because with one wheeling, if you fall, you're probably out, but there is a chance that the 1 or 2 people ahead of you are also going to fall. And if you get back on your board and you bomb, you could catch up and pass them, or they'll mess up.
Right.
But with stand up, if you fell, most places you're down the river, you're out, you DQ'd.
Right.
You're done. You can't mess up. And so it's just fun. It was like, it almost helps you not take it as serious, because you know there's a sense of luck. And that was when I learned that I perform better when I go to have fun. Like when I the whole paddleboarding thing really helped me learn to be a competitor.
Yeah.
Because I grew up just skating and making films and just goofing around with the homies. And then with paddleboarding, I became competitive and was in competition and learned the art of taking it just the right amount of serious. So you're trying your hardest, but you're focusing on having fun and like your camaraderie with everybody. Because when you just go out there and you're there to win, you're trying as hard as you can, and you do all the prep and you stretch and you did this and that, and and then you don't get it, you're crushed. And then your whole day's ruined, your whole evening's ruined. You feel like the whole trip was a waste.
Right.
You let down your sponsors. But the main reason you let down your sponsors is because you were being an a-hole.
Right.
And all locked off, and then you lost, and you were a little B about it.
Right.
But when you cruise out there and you're just stoked and you're happy, and you still warm up, you still do all the prep, but when you go to have fun, you perform better because you put less pressure on yourself. But if you don't end up performing the way you wanted to, you're still already having fun, and then you continue to have fun. And then with sponsors, like, yeah, it's good when you do well, but the main job of a sponsored athlete is to be an ambassador to the brand and show that the product works well, but also be a face of the company and somebody that makes people appreciate the brand more. And so when you're not being chill, you're not making the brand look chill. And if you're being chill, you're probably making the brand look chill. So I like that about one wheel racing too, that there's not a lot of margin for error. But I also don't like it because that's why I've never won Race with the Rail, because I always make these like little mistakes like right towards the end.
It's cool to hear your ethos behind like serious but not too serious, and like basically sportsmanship, because I've always quietly really respected the way that Bodhi loses. Honestly, like I think how you lose really like tells you more about a person than how someone wins, you know? And you've lost a number of times, you know?
Yep.
but you've done it with positivity and like love for whoever's won, and like, and it comes through as very genuine too. Like I think some people like me, this is like me. I'll like try to put on like a good face. I bet you're the same way. I bet you're the worst. Like you like try to put on a good face, but like you'll actually be pissed, you know? Yeah. And you can tell the difference. Like if people like genuinely happy. I've actually always really like observed that, seen that, and really respected that.
Thanks.
That's good. I'm definitely was.
Adam's
that.
like, I've never lost. Next question.
No, I went through a crazy time in my life where I used to be super like hard on myself, and so I pole vaulted in high school and college, and like I was mega hard on myself. And if I didn't win, it wasn't like anybody's else's fault but mine, but it was like I was so hard on myself that it was like I remember one time I was like in indoor track in New York City, and I just walked out on the street. I had to go. Nobody knew where I went. I was just like, I gotta get out of here. Like, didn't know how to manage my
Are
emergency
you wearing your
stuff.
tights on like
I'm wearing like my
38?
like like the tights and stuff. It's like a crazy scene when I flash back on it. But yeah, like you
You're
learn.
not holding your spear.
You still got the
It's
pole.
out there. It's taxing.
You learn, you grow, and you realize like, yeah, you can't take anything too seriously because why the hell are you doing it in the first place?
Yeah.
Right?
Should be for
Like
fun.
if you're doing it and you it's like everything's on the line, it's got to be way too serious, then like you said, you're just going to be crushed when you fall. But
True. Actually, I take that back. The one time that Bodhi lost terribly was the first race the rail in at Vale, where you went the wrong direction.
I went the right direction, dude.
And Bodhi went the wrong
I was
direction.
so pissed. I went the right direction because what happened was
okay, now it comes out.
they had walked everybody through the race course, right?
Yeah.
And this was the course. There was a part where it went up and you
Yep.
went down this drop and
Yeah.
came back in, right?
Yeah.
But when we started, the dude that was holding the rope to keep people from walking through closed the course off wrong. So
Who was it? I
can't remember his name. He wasn't working for the company. He was like some dude you guys were just like, hey, will you help us hold this line and make sure nobody walks across it?
Okay.
And he was holding it wrong, so we couldn't go on that section up and around down that drop. Remember the brick drop?
Yeah.
So in my heat, he closed it off, and I was in the lead. And I go and I'm like putting my arms up. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And he's like, no, you got to go that way. You got to go that way. And I was like, no, you don't. This is the course. And so I go and I like kind of stop and fall off. And then everybody just goes right, skips that feature and like keeps going on the course. And I just lost it. I was like, dude, are you serious? Like, and I think that was the year where I had road tripped out with the Hover Hooligans. So that was part of
Is
why.
that year? I thought
I think so.
maybe.
Because I had like a lot of pressure on that I put on myself to perform for the squad. And it was like this whole big trip when we were filming everything. But this freaking guy like covered up the course. I went the right way. Everybody else just took off and I lost the round because they got such a big lead on me since I had to like come off my board, turn around, get back on. And I was just so mad. I was like, can we rerun it? And everyone's like, no, sorry. We got to keep it going. We're on a schedule here. And I was so pissed, dude.
He was. He's probably the maddest I've ever seen you. Saddest, really.
Yeah, I was bummed, dude.
Yeah.
But it's all good. It's in the past. I got over it pretty quick.
All right, we're getting close to an hour here, boys. So I want to keep it moving. I want to keep it grooving. Questions for both of you. We are nearing holiday season. Well, I guess it already is holiday season.
That time.
Some people in this world celebrate a thing called Christmas. Others celebrate other things. And there are many gifts that are given. My question to you, Bodhi, is for the one-wheelers out there that are just wishing there's a nice big old box underneath the tree, or whether that's a board or accessories, what are your top 3 one-wheel accessories that you would gift somebody, whether they have a one-wheel or not?
GTS Rally, GTS Rally, GTS Rally. Go fast or go home.
Damn.
Love that.
No, I'm playing. I think, well, what comes to mind for me is 2 of the things that most improve your one wheel experience are going to be the foot pads and the tire. So if you know that your special somebody or a friend of yours has an older form of foot pads, or theirs are blown out and their grip tape's all beat up, or they've been talking about wanting the wider foot pads and they don't, or they're on a pint and they have the stock pint foot pads, I would definitely get them either the flared for the pint, or I'd get them the flared for the GT or GTS. They're
You
really
go flared
awesome.
on GTS over just normal low boy?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I love the flareds.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't even have that crazy big of a foot. I'm like a 10, but there's more surface area. You can like really
That
leverage the
leverage
board a
is-
little bit more. Like you can power slide so hard with those
Yeah.
and just get super buck nasty. And it looks cool too. It just kind of has like a snowboardy
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
look to it. But I would say that the foot pads, you know, if they have a pint and they're on the stock pint tire, getting them the performance treaded tire is super leca. The GT, if they're on the old GT, you good?
Did
Was that
you
word?
mispronounce Leica?
No,
What was
Leca.
that?
Was
Leca
Leica?
is good.
Like
Leca's good.
Mm,
Leca way.
all right.
Okay. Sick.
That's some Tyler lingo from way back.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But if they have the GT and they're on the old GT treaded tire, the
Yeah.
performance treaded is worlds above.
There you go.
If they're on the XR Classic, we just came out with the new colors. Colors are great.
Mm.
I think I'm going one over the limit here, but
Yeah.
some new bumpers.
You're kind of stepping on
'Cause
my
it's like-
toes here.
You got the performance side of the foot pads and the tire, or if they're already dialed there, getting them some fresh colors with either bumpers or rail guards. It's always a good move to get them some fresh colors. You know,
Totally. Free ride. Free
Yeah.
ride it up.
and the rail guards are the least expensive of it all. If you're just looking for like stocking stuffer,
$25.
it's a good bet.
Yeah, that's good. It's a good bet.
But if you want to go all in, get them an FST foot pad set.
What are we gonna let this guy just do 12
He's
accessories?
literally just going to say every accessory, and then you're kind
This
of.
is the Onewheel podcast. There are rules here.
Well,
buddy.
these are our own choice. You could overlap with me.
But this is great too, because the question was whether they own a one wheel or not.
And that's why my first answer, Adam and Bodhi, is of course, the tire inflator. Because
Mm.
if they don't own a one wheel, no worries. Tire inflate your way to fuller car tires, bike tires.
Mm,
You could probably pump up a basketball with that thing.
you can.
You know,
Comes with the needle.
The tire inflator is my favorite accessory that we make because I use it for everything. In fact, it's obviously all of our favorite accessories because we all steal them because there's never any here. And we've ordered like 12 and there's like one. So everyone has one in their car. I know.
Somebody's selling them on the black market
Everyone
right
has
now
one.
because there's only like 10 of us.
But I think I would say,
Sun hat.
yeah, we don't
I'm
sell a
just kidding.
sun
Do we
hat.
not make those anymore?
Sun hat.
Or
Oh
is that
no,
always just been a
those are like
race to
race
rail
rail
thing?
specials.
Hmm.
But I was gonna go with some merch. So like, I think a year and a half ago, we had a come to Jesus moment with our merchandise, our apparel.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it was like so bad. You know, we were
You
making.
don't like the pint stack tee?
The pint stack tee, the red Gemini tee. We had some all time bad. Like it was.
Pint hat was sick.
Yeah, the pint hat was sick.
I like the pint merch because just the pint logo looks really sick.
Yeah.
And Laser and I are big pint fans.
The coolest piece of apparel that we made back in the day, I don't think you could buy it, but it was like the stick figure hat.
That one was
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
That one was
That
way
was
sick.
cool.
It was
should
just
bring that
literally,
back.
I drew that like at a restaurant on a napkin, just like a line in a circle. And then I was like, hey, so like, can you put this on a dad hat? It kind of was pretty sick.
Yeah.
But basically the spark noise is that all of our apparel sucked ass. Can I say that?
We're far enough in, I think.
It sucked. Our apparel was so bad. And it was a source of embarrassment for all of us.
It really was.
We all were embarrassed by our apparel. And countless people would be like, why don't you guys make cool apparel? Like, you guys could totally make cool apparel. Like, people would probably want some cool apparel from you guys. And so finally, we lit everything on fire, proverbially. We have boxes in the back of old stuff that we didn't sell. So we didn't actually light it on fire. But we came back to the drawing board and we said, what can we do to rectify the situation? And there was one thing, I feel like you probably said this. This is something you would say. That was like a mantra. And it was, if we make apparel, it should be of the same quality as the boards that we make.
Yeah, that
Right?
sounds like me.
And it does sound like you. And at the time, it was not. It was not even close to the quality of the boards we make. And so we went, and I emailed, actually, like one of the homies I emailed is Mark, who's the founder of Topo Designs. And I said, Mark, we're having a crisis. What are the best blanks that you know of in the entire world? And he sent me this like wholesale thing that is pretty legit. I can't tell you guys where, because then you'd get on our stash.
Gatekeeper.
But finally we make apparel that is not just mid-level, but like the Sketchy O hoodie sweatshirt is one of the nicest sweatshirts that any of you have ever worn.
Dude, heavyweight hoodies hit.
Heavyweight hoodie. That thing is thick. That thing is so nice. The crew necks are really nice. There's a lot like
the beanies,
you rock the beanie all the time.
I rock the beanie all the time.
The crazy sloth tee. I don't know if anyone's seen the sloth tee, but that one's pretty sick.
The unstructured snapbacks are really dope.
The unstructured snapbacks are good. The cord hat's sick. I got a new hoodie, the zip up hoodie that Kyle loves. It's kind of like pizza design on the back. So anyways, I would say if you haven't checked out the Onewheel apparel yet, or we're going to come out with some new stuff too. That's really, we shouldn't talk about it yet. It's too soon.
Yeah, we're going to come out with some spicy,
it's too soon.
It's a collection.
We can't even talk about it.
It's a collection of goods that
we can't even talk about it.
Is of the utmost highest quality we've ever put out for that type of goods.
The checkered socks that we do sell right now, very good.
Those are great socks.
So I would say if you don't have a Onewheel, or you're like, I can't imagine anyone would listen to this podcast and not have a Onewheel. If you listen to this podcast and you don't have a Onewheel,
please comment.
And you're this far in,
let us know.
You are an absolute psychopath. And I don't know what you're thinking.
But we love you.
We love you.
We freaking love you, and let us know that you don't have a Onewheel and you're listening
definitely,
to this.
if you don't, get a pair of the checkered socks,
or the tote bag.
Yeah, sure, the tote
that
bag.
is extremely high quality
huge.
as well.
Yeah, I use it all the time.
Yeah.
I used it as my gym bag for a while.
So I
just got a gym bag that's got like a little shoe slot and stuff. It's pretty sick.
Nice.
Anyways, I think the apparel is kind of slept on. We don't and we don't really like we don't lean into the apparel on our social media channels too much. So I don't know if people like are know about it too much, but
yeah, we might just need to do an apparel like podcast.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. What about you, man?
I got some cool ideas I want to throw out for next year.
Yeah, there was talks of Bodhi having his own, what do you call it? You don't want to call it, it's not an outfit because that doesn't sound very cool. Apparel line.
Be like a drop.
Bodhi drop.
Collab.
Holler in the comments if people would want some Bodhi Harrison designed top to bottom stuff. Limited to 100 pieces.
Yeah, it'd be 100 each.
Dang. Do they get numbered? Like this is
that was something I was thinking about.
50
Like
out of 100.
How would we do that?
You would write it with Sharpie.
You would just write it with Sharpie and sign your name on each. Like you are gonna do that, right?
Yeah,
you're
down. not gonna do that, right?
Yeah.
Like, if we're gonna do like 100 and
we'd at least include like a handwritten note, for each piece, if not like somehow like a tag on the garment.
Yeah.
But I was just mocking that up the other day. I'm kind of excited with what's coming together. You guys were down for me to do that a long time ago, but I didn't feel right doing it until I was like really ripping again.
Yeah. Yeah, you didn't want to do it.
Because I didn't want to just like bank on my old clout. I wanted to like be freshly clouting.
Do some new stuff.
Yeah.
Big clout energy.
Well, yeah, I'm excited for your clothing line.
What's your third?
Attire, apparel, Onewheel mat, obviously.
I knew you were going to say that.
Onewheel mat. Most versatile, single most
flag.
versatile piece that we sell.
We also have the Onewheel flags, right?
Yeah, we sell like flags and banners. My issue with the Onewheel mat, Jack, is that the shape of it. It doesn't fit properly in anywhere.
You know what I actually want to do with the Onewheel mat? Now I'm
it's
thinking
not
about
rectangle.
I want to put it. It'd be a good thing for where my cats eat their cat food because it's got that little rim for overflow.
Yeah.
I used
Just think
one
about
as a
It's good
shoe
for
mat
dog
at my
water.
apartment
Yeah, it's
for
a
a while.
perfect shoe mat. You don't
But
have
it
to
didn't
shake.
fit in the space.
Yeah, it's true.
So I was like, there's this random gap, and
It's
then
because it's designed
it's
for the
designed to
board
fit a
sit.
board.
Yeah.
Yeah, which makes sense.
I have mine as the shoe mat outside of my rig, but I never keep my shoes outside of my rig.
Smart.
So it just kind of
Yeah, I wouldn't do that
decor.
around here either.
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't either.
My landlord leaves his like slippers and stuff on the front porch, and they get stolen all the time.
No way.
Yeah.
well, yeah, you guys are like pretty close to downtown. That's an interesting move. What about you, Lays?
I would definitely gift somebody a pint, being that it's only $750.
I thought we were talking accessories.
Is it accessories? You said GT Rally.
You said
But that was my
accessories.
joke.
So is it accessory?
You could
But,
say
hey,
a pint is an accessory
agree,
to
I
a
would say
agree,
a pint
though.
is an accessory to your life
style.
style.
All right.
Okay,
That checks out.
not the board. Then I would probably go with.
I just thought of the best one.
I would definitely do some beanies. I think beanies are a good wide net to cast,
Yeah.
no matter who you are.
And it's a fisherman beanie, so there's a bit of a pun there as well.
It could be the fisherman beanie. We also make a couple
Why
other
not?
I
other
didn't
ones.
catch that.
And then I think it would definitely be like,
Just a pair of Birkenstocks.
see, I might throw. I
we
might,
should
you
make
know what?
Onewheel
I might
Bergs.
throw some trading cards in there.
Hmm.
I'd rip trading cards, and then just depending on the board that it was, I would give them the best foot pad for that board, which would be like any wide version of foot pad.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do agree, like the foot pads are huge. Tire, you know, it would depend on if they had a pint otherwise, or a Pine X. Otherwise,
Yeah.
they're rocking performance already. But
Okay, here's what I want to know: worst gift on the Onewheel website for the holidays. Worst gift. I know mine, but you guys got to think
worst
about yours.
GIF on the
Worst.
A charger plug.
That's pretty bad.
Because that's more something you like get for yourself if you're going to be getting dusty or whatever. But if somebody gives you just like a little $5
You're like, come on.
charger plug, you're like,
What were you gonna
what
say?
else?
Is that better or worse than the air freshener?
Dude, the air freshener is sick. Although I do have to say, we need to make another one, and it needs to be more of like a Santa Cruz redwood scent.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
when I took the product photos for that, I was like, is this Lysol? And then I was told it was pine, but it's like the standard air freshener
Pine air freshener.
scent.
Yeah.
But like, imagine that was like redwood forest,
Oh, loam.
loam smell,
Loam
Never
scent.
mind. I'll remind you later.
loam candles.
Would be dope.
Oh, little vials of loam.
Okay, so I say the air freshener, but it's disagreed with. What would you say was the worst? Oh, charger plug. What do you think is the worst gift to give someone off the Onewheel website?
Dude, probably.
See, this is what people actually want to know. They don't want us
Yeah.
to be like positive about stuff. They want us to be rag on.
He's kind of got it right. You got to look it up. I think the worst gift, dude. Honest, okay, you ready for this one?
Yeah. Go.
If this person,
I think you're gonna say what I was gonna say.
if you had a GT, the flat kick pads.
That was mine, dude.
Was it?
Yeah, that was mine. I just did a full foot pad review rundown video earlier today, which will be coming out soon.
Oh, that's
I'm sure
sick.
you can't wait to find out about every single foot pad out there. There's a ton of foot pads now, so it's crazy. But
I'd like to change my 3 accessories now that I've perused the site and reminded myself, or at least add a couple, because one that I saw that I can't believe I didn't think of is the cleaning kit.
oh,
The cleaning kit is a great thing because I feel like most riders, you're either going to have the homie that just got a board, loves it, and has done nothing to it. And is like, I don't need all the stuff. I don't scour the internet and get jealous of other people. I just go check the surf and get my coffee, and I love it. Those people are the people where it's like, yeah, maybe you should get them a couple accessories because they just don't know or don't care. But a lot of people, I feel like, have their board dialed.
Mhm.
They're like, I have it exactly how I want it, exactly what it looks like,
That's true.
right? So the cleaning kit would be a great gift because the cleaning kit comes with like cleaning materials like the degreaser, and it comes with brushes and a sponge and all kind of stuff, and it all comes in this like handy dandy little kit. There's like a wire brush, a regular brush, a grip tape cleaner, microfiber cloths, degreaser, protectant. So it's a pretty good like well-rounded gift. Like it doesn't matter what that person has. And I think it's also a great gift where if you're somebody that's trying to like get your partner to approve a board or like get your parents to invest in your one wheel life, and you get them the one wheel cleaning kit to clean like their bike or like their car
Sure,
tires or something,
branded.
you'd give them a little like subliminal messaging,
Wow.
you know, just like, hey, I got you this one wheel cleaning kit so you could clean your motorcycle with
And
it.
if we ever get a one wheel,
And then if we get a one wheel, we already have the cleaning kit.
Yeah,
Right.
we already got it. Fun fact: one wheel cleaning kit, hand curated by Austin and Mercedes Silva.
that's right.
Mm.
And I thought that little tool in there was custom made for one wheels, but it turns out that's done with bikes too.
Yep.
I was heartbroken to find that out.
Yeah, it's cool the way that they curated it was to like very specific thing. Like there's the little pick for when you get dirt in your screws and you need to get that out. Like it's very practical. Everything makes sense.
Another awesome gift, the mini one wheel kit.
Dude, yeah, I forgot about all that stuff.
I know you kind of got to jog your memory. It's hard to pull these things up, but mini one wheel kit is awesome. Comes with a mini GT and a mini pint and little stands and fenders and grip tape. They're actually really fun. Like they're fun to play with. So if you have somebody that, you know, has their one wheel and loves it and they're kind of a fidgety person, great gift. They're also great for just like putting on your shelf, you know, or like your desk at work or like wherever. They're a great gift. Or somebody that, you know, you can't quite get them the board yet, but you're working on it. And it's that little hint, you know, a little like,
I want your fingers to one wheel this season.
yeah,
Next season, your feet.
exactly. Stepping stones.
Yeah. Love that.
The Rowdy Rider tee goes hard.
I like the color of that one.
Yeah.
Laser's the
Nice-
model there, huh?
Nice yellow.
I consider myself a Rowdy Rider.
Alrighty. Well, this is a long one, but I think
We had a good time.
well worth it. And it may be the first, but it's not the last.
Nah, we got to do it more.
We can do this anytime we want.
We can do this anytime we want, and that's the beauty of it. And what do you guys think about the grass? I tried to make it a little bit more comfortable for you, Bodhi.
I like it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
great.
looks good. I like all the surfboards. I like little teenage Bode.
little teenage boat. I think that's the coolest.
I like the 113 poster of Mercedes because I shot that photo.
Sick photo.
I love the motion blur in New York City car ripping.
That was like the most tragic and like awesome thing ever too.
Yeah.
She landed it when none of you guys were looking,
Yep.
and then she didn't land it after that.
It was a challenging section.
Oh my goodness. Anyways,
Well, I will close this out in saying that it's been it's been a really good year. You guys both have been really good to me. You know, there was a period of struggle that I went through, and both of you were very supportive of me and helped encourage me to be better through love and positivity. And you've made me feel very supported and very respected and very appreciated this whole time I've been here and even before. But you guys are really incredible bosses and managers, and I'm really honored to be working alongside you guys. And you make me happy and you make me excited to come to work every day, not only because I get to do this, but because I get to do this with you guys. And I always have so much fun on our little adventures and missions, and you guys are really like brothers to me, and it's been really awesome seeing you guys more than a few times a year and being able to like hang out all the time and do cool stuff. And I'm really excited to keep it going.
wow.
I love that.
I love that too. I feel
love you
the
guys.
same way about you, man.
Thanks.
I really like having you here.
It's good to be here.
It's great having you here, man. Like I was saying in the beginning, it's cool to have it all come full circle and have you be here every day and contributing in every way that you possibly can, and also just watching you grow as a person is rad too. And yeah, it's fun. I think we're pretty damn lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As am I.
Amen.
Sweet.
Amen.